Welcome to the Contrarians and to our final show of 2024. The topic tonight, the very first album you ever purchased or received as a gift. Let's talk about it. Let's do it now. Welcome to the Contrarians, and I want to welcome this panel tonight. We've got Ashley, we've got... I don't know how these two may cancel each other out, but we have the Parish of Rock and the Elder of Rock here tonight. We had a couple more people, but they didn't make it. But that doesn't matter. We are going to do this topic anyway, and we're going to have a good time. Our topic for tonight, the first album you ever bought. Probably when you were a kid in your teens and you heard something and you ran to the store and you had to buy it. So, like I said, we've got a great panel. I want to welcome the panel, Ashley, the Parish, and the Elder tonight. Gentlemen, how are you? You ready to talk about...
Good.
Ready to go back in time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. I'm going to do it as I see it. Let's go Ashley, the Parish, and the Elder, and then I guess I'll go last. I've told my story before, but I'll tell it again because not everybody sees all these.
I don't think I've heard it.
All right, well, you'll hear it then. All right, Ashley, what was the first album you ever bought?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on today. I'm going to cheat a little bit, though.
Look, we've already got someone here cheating already.
Because I didn't.
He knows how to do this.
It's fine.
I didn't really actually bought this album. This was a birthday present for me.
Oh,
so I don't
okay.
know whether that would count or not. And I got this for my 7th birthday back in 1975, and I got given this album.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good album to get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sweet Desolation Boulevard. One of my all-time favourite albums of all time, and I loved this album from start to the finish. How can you not? We had the singles of this. We had the 16s, which got in the top 20 here in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Solid Gold Brass. Now, what a crack of a track that is. One of their best ever. And this also contains Fox on the Run, but not the single version as we know it. It's also got the album version, which was a little bit different compared to the single.
Yeah, I think the single version, because that's what we got here in the States, Ashley, because Desolation Boulevard here in the States was a combination of Sweet Fanny Adams and Desolation Boulevard, and we got the single of that track, and I think I think it's better than the album track, but whatever.
Yes, yeah. The management at the time told them they needed another single off the album, so they went back and reworked it, and that's the version that everyone knows as of today. But yeah, classic album. I often replay all the time. It's got also do a great cover of My Generation on it as well. The Who cover as well, which is quite good. So yeah, I'm cheating a bit, but that was my first record I ever got, was a Sweet Desolation Boulevard.
So Ashley, where does Sweet rank on your? How are you with the whole catalog?
With the 4 main guys, pretty good. Pretty good up to a certain point. I've sort of dropped off a bit when Andy Scott had his version of that. Not that anything's badder then. Some of them albums are really good as well.
Right.
But I sort of dropped off along the way because they did a lot of reissued albums, like a different lineup, and they'd redone all the songs and that, and I backed off a little bit. But most of the original albums, probably from up to Funny How Sweet Cocoa Can Be all the way up to Identity Crisis, I'm pretty good with. I have all of those, so yeah.
Cool. Well, then I'll be in touch. All right.
It's definitely worth listening to their new album that came out a couple of months ago.
Yes. That is good. That is good.
It is really good. I mean, is it Sweet? Well, it's got Andy in there. Does it sound like Sweet? Maybe not, but it's still a cracker of an album, though. It's in my top 10 albums of the year. I think it's a great album, and I'm seeing him in a couple of months. I think it's February. He comes around to do his final tour, at least until the next one. And that's exactly. And I think that's in February. So I'm looking forward to that. So, but yeah, if you've heard it, the last album Well, so it came out earlier this year. It depends when this goes out. So if this goes out in 25, then it was towards the end of last year.
I'm going to get this.
Well, in
ready
which case
for-
it came out this year, 2024.
So I'm looking that
really
up
good
real
album.
quick. Let me look. So full circle.
Full
That's
circle,
the
yeah.
record. Okay, all right.
Yes, it is.
I'm looking it up. I wonder if that even came out. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm looking at the album cover. I've seen that. I haven't heard it. So you would what would you rate? I'm just saying. Hey, and the Contrarians, we're all trying to turn you on to music. Parish, what would you rate that out of 10? The new record.
I'd give it a 7.5, maybe an 8.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Alright.
it's a really good melodic rock album. Andy's guitar on it is really good. Vocals are excellent. It's probably not sweet as you remember sweet, but it's still a really good album.
All right. Well,
I'd
I'm
give it a
sold.
7.
That's good enough for me. All right. All right. I'm good. So check that out. Hey, we're just trying to turn you on to stuff, and who knew where this conversation was going to go. So please check out the new Sweet album. Heck, in the comments, let us know what you think of it. So, all right, cool. All right. Thank you, Ashley. That's a great. See, it's all about the conversation. All right. Let's throw it over to Parish. Parish, what was the first album you ever bought?
Well, I'm kind of going to cheat as well, but I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat in multiple ways. So, I'm not. The first album I ever got was Queen's Sheer Heart Attack, but that was a present. It wasn't one I bought myself, so I've discounted that. I bought loads of singles in the early 70s, and as a result of that, I also bought loads of hit single compilation albums that were pumped out at the time, particularly by K-Tel, that included all the hit singles of the time. But I've not included any of those either because they were really singles, just happened to be all on one vinyl record.
Right.
I also bought a couple of compilation greatest hits before the record I'm about to talk about, and that was the Blue and the Red albums by the Beatles. But I got those, but the compilation albums, I've decided to ignore those. And I also bought a load of second-hand records, particularly at jumble sales, but I'm ignoring the albums but I'm ignoring those as well as they were second-hand. So I thought I'd focus on new albums, if you like, that were and the problem I have now is the one I thought it was, when I go back and checked it today chronologically, it can't have been. So my recollection of the very first album I bought was this one, New World Record.
Great record.
Which I thought that was the very first one I got. So this is ELO, New World Record. I'd heard a couple of hits, I think, at the time I'd got it. Certainly heard of Living Thing was out as a single. I think Do Ya was either out as a single or certainly was being played on the radio. And I was familiar with ELO and I kind of knew the singles. So I got that, loved the album cover. I think even now the album sounds quite futuristic, despite when it came out. It came out in 76, came out October 76. And if you'd asked me what was the first record I bought with my own money that was a proper studio album, I would have told you that. And I would have told you that for the last 50 odd years. However, when I checked this morning chronologically, it can't have been. Because I remember buying this album in the summer of 76, which was before that one came out.
Okay.
So therefore, I can't have bought that one first. And the album I bought in the summer of 76 was this one, Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I remember getting this in the summer is I got it whilst we were on holiday. So I bought it purely for the album cover. I didn't know who Thin Lizzy was. I didn't know any of the songs. But at the time I was into Marvel comics and DC comics, and I just I saw the album cover and I thought it was fantastic. And I spent the best part of 2 weeks looking at the album cover. So you've got that, you've got the way it opens up.
I don't think it did that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
I don't remember
I-
ever seeing that in the States doing that.
Oh, mine did that back. Yeah, this isn't the original version I had, but this did that back in the day. Yeah. Although my recollection is it lifted from the top, not from the side. So
Elder, it never was like that here, was it?
No, I never saw it like that.
I remember.
Yeah, I think I have
My
it. I don't think it's
memory
like
was
that.
it went like that, as opposed to like that. But I don't know. I might be wrong.
I don't know, but that's cool though.
Yeah.
And it's got its story. It's got the story and the little story in the back and the pictures of them live. And there was no record player when we were on holiday, so I couldn't play it.
But you could look at it and do this.
I could look at it. I could look at it. I could do that or that, whichever way it was. I made up my own stories in my head, what it was all about. There's a story on the back anyway that tells you what it's all about. In my head then and in my head now, it was actually a concept album because of the story on the back. And when I finally got it home, it was one of the first things I did when we got home was play it, and I was just blown away. So kicks off side one is Jailbreak, which everybody knows is a fantastic song. It's got Boys Are Back in Town as well. It's got Emerald. It's got Warriors. I mean, it's just a classic album. And time-wise, because I hadn't heard those songs,
right,
I must have bought it in the summer of '76. I couldn't have bought it in '77 because if I had, I would know the songs. So therefore, even though I think that's the first album I ever bought, actually it's that one. So I decided I'd go for 2 for 1 on that basis. Talk about that one and talk about that one. So they were the first 2 albums I ever bought, which were proper albums that weren't K-Tel compilations.
So now we're like the show is changing. It's like, what album did you get a gift? Was a gift, and then what did you buy? So Ashley, you got the other album as a gift, but what was the first album you actually bought?
Would be AC/DC Back in Black.
Okay. Yeah.
Brand new. Being a youngster that I am, I'm not as old as the parish, but having a bit of money back in those
nobody
days.
Nobody. Well, I don't know. I think DC.
I don't know.
Older than you. I don't know. Don't say that.
I don't know. I'm the elder, so.
I got a lot of mine secondhand because I didn't have a lot of cash back in the time.
That counts, though.
Yeah.
It's it doesn't matter if it's new or used. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I used your money.
Exactly. So Back in Black. All right. Cool.
Yeah. That'll come up later.
But what was it about Black in Black? Did you hear it on the radio? Was it just the buzz that album was creating that you went, oh, I got it?
In Australia, when that came out, there was a huge buzz about it because it was the first with Brian Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You Shook Me All Night Long first come out as a single, and that was doing very well at the time. And there was a lot of really positive vibe about it, about what was when Bon Scott passed away, and then that came out at the end of 1980, and there was a lot of positive energy and good reviews from all around the paper. I mean, on our show here, Countdown did a big thing on it. It was a lot in the magazines at the time, but yeah, it was a big album for its time.
Yeah,
it was in the top 20 albums for at least a couple of months.
Yeah,
I've got a bit of a story on Black in Black. So Black in Black came out in the summer of 1980, and it was reviewed in Sounds, and I think it got a 4 or 5 star review. It was really big, and the town I lived in. I think it was released either at the end of July or the beginning of August, and I was working in a shop at the time during the summer holidays. And the week it was released, there was a limited number of copies available, and they didn't ship it to the town I lived in. And I had to, for 4 weeks, every day, I would trot down to the local record shop to buy it, to be told it wasn't in yet. And I eventually got it I had to borrow some money off my parents to get the train into London, so I could go into London to buy it, because it just wasn't turning up in the local record store. And to this day, I don't know why that was. I don't know why there was whether it was just, I mean, it went straight to number one. So whether it was just flying off the shelves and therefore limited copies of it, I don't know. But yeah, I had to wait a month, and then eventually I gave up waiting for it to come to my local town, and I got the train into London and bought it at HMV in Oxford Street. I wasn't disappointed when I got it home either, I must say.
But it's just the way it goes of that era. I mean, I used to look like in Rolling Stone or Choose Your Music magazine, because you didn't have the internet. You didn't really have any way to find out what was coming out. So, I'd go through and they'd have this is what's coming out. And then you'd have to go to your local record store. Hopefully they had it.
Yeah, sometimes there's a delay, or sometimes there'd be a delay. No, it's not going to come out till next week, or something was wrong with the production or something, and be like, yeah.
Yeah, these kids nowadays just have instant gratification. But man,
I'll tell you about
when we were kids, you had to work to get it.
Yes.
You did.
Well,
you really did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, my Back in Black story is that back in the day, radio used to play whole albums, especially if they were big albums.
Mm-hmm.
So when that was coming out, the radio station by me, WTUE in Dayton, Ohio, they did a midnight theater where they played that whole album. And I recorded it off the radio, but I did, I was going to go buy it, but I just I had to have it right then. So there's some instant gratification right there. But so that's my Back in Black strings.
Well, think about this, Elder. Think about of all the other kids that were recording at the same time that you.
I know, right?
But that's what you did.
Yeah.
You had your little cassette player or whatever, and you, we all did that.
Absolutely. We all did it. Yeah.
Kids today have no idea.
My gosh.
The good old days. Yeah. It was a lot more fun, though, I think. You had to work at it a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, Parish. Awesome. All right. So we know Ashley and the Parish were up to date. The Elder. What's your, what was the first album that you got as a present? And what was the first album you went out and bought with your
where is it? No, hold on. I have my album. Wait a minute.
See how these shows morph, ladies and gentlemen?
There it is. Okay. So the first album I got as a gift would be this one. Sesame Street.
Oh,
well, okay,
excellent.
You could say that, but I'm talking
no.
What's the first album you got a gift as?
Well, this has a lot of hits on it. This has "I Love Trash," "Rubber Ducky."
A rock and roll record.
Okay. All right. Now this actually okay. This is the first album I got as a gift. Was after I saw after I saw Kiss on the Paul Lynde Halloween special, and so for that Christmas I got this as a gift. And this is original. Also in Casablanca,
it's got the blue label.
The blue label. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so that was my first one I got as a gift, and then
Elder, I've got a copy of Hotter Than Hell on the blue label.
Oh wow, really? Yeah, those are those don't come. I mean, those are I guess rare, a little rare, sort of.
Yeah, it was like $8. I bought it like 20 years ago, and it was mint. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, but no. So then after that, though, of course, I wanted to get more Kiss. So I was at a record store. I only had so much money, and something like a single Kiss album was like $5. But if I got this, it was like $8 or something. So I figured, well, I get 2 records of Kiss. And so I got this one, Kiss Alive. And of course, it's great. This isn't the blue label, but I got the booklet and everything that I, of course, tore apart and put up on my wall.
What about the order sheet? You saw the order sheet for stuff?
Wow.
I don't know if Alive came with an order sheet for
No. I didn't get it. I don't remember getting an order sheet.
Yeah.
But what's wild is this album, this is going to be weird, but stay maybe, but this album had a certain smell to it and when I first got it, and I could still smell it. I mean, it had like it's like a new, not like a new car. I don't know, I can't describe it, but like every time I open up, I'm still surprised it's there. And there's like all the notes that they wrote, which made you think that they were just absolute nuts. Yeah, it had such mystique back then. It was great.
Yeah.
So those are my gifted and my first album I bought.
Awesome. All right.
As
Well,
good as Alive 2 is, that is my personal favourite out of the Kiss live albums. It's definitely the first one.
Yeah.
There's something about it. It's just, you feel like you're part of it there, especially
Yeah.
the 100,000 Years with the drum solo and getting the crowd involved. That's brilliant. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
it still stands up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
excellent.
it does. I mean, I was just listening to it that I had it out, so that's why I realized that Destroyer wasn't the first album I bought. That's why I had to get up and find it, and I was like, oh yeah, just listen to it. So, but yeah, it's really,
Well, to keep the theme going, then Destroyer was the first album I ever stole. Does that kind of fit?
Wait a minute. You stole it.
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
I stole it from my elder brother, but I've still got it.
Oh well,
He's never got
you
it
can
back.
steal from the older brother.
I thought there was gonna be like some
I
story
stole-
about you sneaking out of your jacket.
No,
and
no,
you
it
snuck
wasn't
out.
a heist. There was no heist where I
He
broke
went to
into the local
Woolworths and
record
stole it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I stole it off my elder brother, and he never got it back. It was the ones I stole. There was quite a lot actually, but of the Kiss ones, it was the debut, Destroyer, and Kiss Alive. And don't know if this was everywhere or whether it was just in the UK. But those early Kiss albums, if you held them up to the light, they were blood red. Was that the same everywhere? Or was that just a UK thing? So they looked
probably-
black, but
I can't remember.
if you held them up to the light, they looked black. They looked like they're blood red, and that was a sticker on the album cover.
Of
It
what?
was in blood red
album?
vinyl.
What album?
That was Kiss debut
Okay. No.
and Destroyer. Now I'm assuming all of those original, the original 4 or 5 albums were like that, but yeah, that was a thing that they were trying to, certainly over here they were selling the albums on the basis that if you held them up to the light, they went a blood red.
I mean,
No, it would be totally different over here in the States. We just got regular old pressings. I think a lot of those Kiss albums were pressed at Sterling. It's not anything special, But I do have a question. So, was your brother's record? Was it like an original pressing? Did it have, the brain? Did it have Kissing Time on it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I've still got it. It was an original. Well, I don't know if it was a very original pressing, but he would have bought it when it first came out over in the UK. So he would have bought it, 74, 75.
Yeah, I don't know how many.
And then he.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those came out without Kissing Time. I don't know how many of those were actually sold.
Yeah,
that was.
I don't know, but I saw a show where
a UK thing. It might have only been in the States that happened. I don't know.
Eddie Trunk's got a white. He's got a white
label.
label.
I'm just going to go and have a look. I'll be back in a sec. I'm just
All right,
going
go
to turn my camera off. I'll be back.
Eddie Trunk's got a white label promo of the debut album, No Kissing Time.
Oh wow, yeah, those are rare. I know, like John 5, he has a big,
of course,
collection.
Yeah.
He's got like banners from the kissing contest that they had at wherever that was in Cleveland or something. I can't remember, but yeah, he's got a lot of stuff, a lot of rare stuff. Yeah. I used to have some, it's like a long time ago, of course, when I thought Kiss wasn't cool anymore, I got rid of a lot of my Kiss stuff, and I had like the giant posters and
really big one.
Yep.
So I don't know how you got yours, but did you ever see the video with Sebastian Bach on YouTube? He got one of them.
I don't think so.
There were 2 giant Kiss posters that came out. 2. I had one, and I think my buddy had the other.
One was Love Gun era, and one was like Alive era. Those ones I
had a Love Gun era one. Huge. I mean, huge.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah.
He got one of those, and he took it to a frame store and had it dry mounted or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could look it up. YouTube Sebastian Bach Kiss poster, because he's like a big collector.
Oh yeah.
the poster that he took to the frame store was the exact same poster I had when I was a kid. And the way we got those was magazine drives, like in middle school.
Yeah.
So I had a Queen one that was gigantic. And then I had
a bunch of those
one.
that were out.
Yeah.
I got mine at Spencer Gifts at our mall. And I remember there was other bands that had those. I think
there was a Jimi Hendrix one.
Yeah.
When he was playing, and he had like a blue top on with the white strat, and they were just huge, gigantic.
Yeah, they're just these giant, like, yeah, you had to clear space on your wall definitely for those.
Yeah, you had you had to have a lot of room. But yeah. But check that out, Sebastian Bach and his.
Yeah.
Okay, what you got, Parish?
So that's the album.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Casablanca at the bottom means anything. If that's how they all looked, or
they all look like that.
They all look like that. Yeah. So 74. This is marked up as, but I don't know if that's exactly when he got it. So that's, but it's not the blue label. It's the
okay. So it's a later one. That's fine. That's all right.
Yeah.
I think it was when it came out in the UK, but I'm not sure whether it came out exactly the same time.
All right, cool. All right, so my story is, I've told this 100 times. I'll tell it again because in case someone never heard it. My gateway drug to buying records or music, before when you're a kid, it's like the Elder. He had a Sesame Street record. He probably had a lot of other kids' records. We all had stuff like that, okay? But my gateway drug to modern music, so to speak, was it was 1975. I was at my neighbor's house, and I was just going through their 45s. I loved records. My parents listened to Lawrence Welk. They listened to big band. They liked Benny Goodman. They were from that era. I never heard anything that was like rock or anything like that. I had no idea what that was. Okay. Sheltered. I was sheltered. So I'm going through the neighbor's house, going through the 45s, and they had the picture sleeves of Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and the Beatles, She Loves You. Okay. And I'm going through and I'm looking at it. I'm going, what in the world is this? Who are these guys? Now we're talking 5-6 years after the Beatles broke up. And of course, we're talking 6 years after, well, no, we're talking 11 years after those singles came out. But me living sheltered life, I looked at those and I went, who are these guys? They look like nothing that I've ever seen. So anyway, I said, hey, can I take these home and play these? Because I was just curious what these sounded like. So the neighbor said, sure, you can take them home and play them. So I went home and played them. And then, I've talked about this where it's like one of those moments where the clouds part, it's like, ta-da, what is this? Because when I heard I Want to Hold Your Hand, I went, oh my God, what is that? And that's all it took. So, of course, I gave the records back, but I played them over and over and over and over and over. And there's nothing like that. When you're at that age and something's new and shiny and, you never have that moment again at that level.
And it seems like you never get tired of it.
Right.
It's, you just could hear it forever. And
yeah. So my whole entry was, well, Beatles, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think what I did, I was able to get some money from my dad. I said, I don't know, Dad. Can I drive downtown Marion and go to Kresge's and see if they have any Beatle records? So I got money. I went down. So Parish will like this. You're all like this. So I went down to Kresge's. They had the Beatles 1962 to 1966. And I had enough money for it. Now, I don't remember 67 to 70, but they had 62 to 66. And I went, good enough. So I bought it, rode back on my bike, and just played the hell out of it. Now, that Christmas, my cousin had ended up buying me Magical Mystery Tour as a gift. So, Yeah, I had Disney records prior to that, but really, my first record that I bought was 62 to 66, and then the first gift that I got was Magical Mystery Tour. But I was just Beatle crazy at that point. Even though they were not together, but then I wanted to go out and then listen to Wings and, it just escalated. But yeah, that's what happened to me. And then I just went from there. And then I went on to Styx and Foreigner. That's some of the early stuff that I bought. Grand Illusion, because my art teacher played that in class when we were in art. And I didn't know anything about it. I saw the cover of the Grand Illusion. It's all, kind of psychedelic. It was weird. And, well, what's this sound like? And I just totally loved it when she played it. So that's just really how I heard stuff. Classes and, maybe the radio. Foreigner, I think I heard on the radio.
Yeah, mostly radio for me was where I heard a lot of stuff. And then used to go skating every Friday.
Yeah.
At the skating rink, you hear a lot of different kind of things there. And then during the summer, we had a pool that would play music and play rock radio. And I remember hearing a bunch of stuff.
You know what I think when I think the pool in the summer? I always think Aldo Nova Fantasy. Because when we go to the pool, they would play Aldo Nova Fantasy all the time. And that's the first thing that I think when I think of the pool, back when I was a kid. When I think Aldo Nova Fantasy, that reminds me of summer.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that weird how certain songs like have that? Like you hear it and they just bring you back to a real
Absolutely.
specific time. Yeah, it's really
Absolutely.
really wild.
Absolutely. A bit like that with us at the beach. We had we go down to our beach, they had like an old speaker and it had our local radio station on there and hits like Play a Baby Come Back. Now that reminds me straight away of the summertime at the beach.
That is total summertime. That is total summer.
Yeah.
Yep. And Clout Substitute. I don't know if you guys know that song at all, but that's a good one. That was
What is it again? What's
Clout with the song Substitutes. They're a South African band,
I don't know
all female group.
Not a cover. Was it an original or a cover substitute?
Cover the Who? Was it a cover of the Who?
No, it's a different song altogether.
Okay.
The Parish may know it.
Yeah, I do, and I've got a feeling it was a Russ Ballard song, but I might be wrong.
You could be right. Yes.
Yeah,
No,
I do know the
South
song.
African.
It was a hit over here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Not
no,
a hit
South
over
African
here,
group.
though.
I don't know. I'd have to hear it. I bet it doesn't sound familiar. I only think of the Who. The Who song came.
no, totally different song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally different
That's what
song.
I just can't that I hear substitute. I think of the Who song, but there could be another substitute. I never heard. I've heard it, but that's just what's in my mind whenever I hear substitute. I have to look it up.
They were an all-girl group from South Africa. I suppose in the vein of the Bangles, probably a 70s version of the Bangles, that kind of thing.
Yes.
I don't recall them ever having another song apart from that, but
One
There is
hit
a
wonder.
there is a best of CD out there, 20 Golden Greats. Check that out. That's really good.
All right. What's the name of it? Clout?
Clout.
Clout.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not the clout, just clout.
Clout.
just Clout.
With a C? C-L-O?
Yes.
U-T?
Yes.
Okay.
C-L-O-U-T.
And it wasn't a Russ Ballard song. It was actually originally a Righteous Brothers song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
We're all here learning together, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
They
cool.
also did. Yeah, I remember this now. They also did a version of "Since You've Been Gone," the Rainbow song, which
So
is
that was
a Russ
Russ
Ballard song.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where I'm getting confused. So yeah, they did a version of "Since You've Been Gone" as well.
I don't know how Russ Ballard did as an actual artist, but a lot of artists covered his songs. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he's
It's like-
relatively an unknown.
yeah, it's like I don't know if I know there are original versions out there, but I've rarely heard them. It's like I just know like Ace Frehley did a couple of songs, Rainbow did a few, and there's other people that have done his songs, and it's like, well, at least he gets the royalty checks. But
Isn't
Yeah,
God
I think
give
he
rock?
does all
Isn't
right.
God?
I think he
isn't
does all
God-
right.
Is God give rock and roll to you? Is that a Russ Ballard song as well?
No, that's
No, that was Argent. I don't know who
that
wrote
was
it.
from.
But
Yeah, but wasn't Russ Ballard an Argent?
was he an Argent? Oh,
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was.
yeah, he was.
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe he was.
yeah,
That's right then. Yeah, maybe it was then.
I think he probably wrote
There's
that.
another.
yeah. I Surrender. He wrote that as well, if you remember.
Yep, I Surrender.
Yeah. He did co-write "God Gave Rock and Roll to You." So
I
yeah,
Surrender.
I think he's got a reasonable pension scheme going off the back of those songs. I think.
I know. Yeah, his own versions might not have sold, but the other people's versions have. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Great band,
Yeah.
Argent. Very good.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Ever-
no one
yeah, no-
pretty much forgotten. I don't want to say that they're 100% forgotten, but no one's talking about Argent in their catalog.
No.
They probably talk more about the Zombies than they talk about Argent. And
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's talking the Zombies.
I know I've heard more Argent. I just can't think of what they are. I know I remember because I remember them hearing about them when they were around.
Well, Hold Your Head Up.
Hold Your Head Up.
Or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
They-
there you go. Yes.
But they used to
Yes.
play that around here, but I don't hear them play it anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff's
Yeah.
just going to fall off the map. If we don't keep this stuff alive, you know,
That's right.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
it'll disappear.
Yeah. I'm starting to hear like on I don't know if you call it classic. I don't know. It's a station that likes to play 80s hits, but now I'm noticing they're sneaking in some Backstreet Boys and
Oh,
things
no.
like that.
Well, we
Like,
are doomed.
Is this what's being pushed out? And oh man, that's why I don't listen to the radio much anymore. Just sometimes I'll flip around just to see what's happening, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
Some
Elder.
Backstreet
That's a,
Boys.
Back in the day, you used to have your radio on and you have your blank cassette tape in the tech, and you'd be reading,
Yep.
you'd be taping songs, and that's how we learned. That's how
Yeah.
that's how I learned in Australia. That all
Yep.
these artists that were around at the time.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all those songs were about 10 seconds shorter, weren't they?
Right,
Because
yeah.
what would happen
Yeah.
is they would talk over the
They'd
end,
talk
so
over it. Or the beginning.
You'd always cut off the end because you didn't want them talking over it. So when you
well,
went out
sometimes
and bought the record, you realise actually they had quite interesting finishing to the song, which you never heard because they used to talk over them.
Sometimes they talk over the beginning too. If it was a long
Yeah.
instrumental, you know,
And
it'd
then-
be like, oh, and then right when the vocals came in, that's when they stopped.
or they would
you know?
segue songs over each other, so
Yep,
you
that
never
too.
heard. You know, they'd
Yeah.
blend together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the radio.
But we didn't have any money. We tried to get what we could. you
Yeah,
know,
no, that's
come
how
on.
you.
That's
That's
right.
you know,
That's how we did it.
that's how you did it, and you know, we could.
I still listen to the radio a lot. Actually, my routine, because I work from home quite a bit now, so my routine is I tend to listen to the radio from about 8 till about 1 o'clock, and then in the afternoon I'll either play albums, CDs, or stream something. But there's a couple of decent rock radio stations in the UK that play anything from the 60s all the way up to modern stuff. And I have to say, I still learn about either newer bands or older bands that I didn't get into at the time, but I'll hear something and I'll think, oh yeah, that's worth checking out. So yeah, I still listen to the radio quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, I would
And
imagine.
as you say, it's cheap.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's true.
But do they have like a broad variety of stuff? Because like play here's, if you're listening to classic rock radio, there's probably only probably 25 songs that they choose from,
I don't know. Yeah, 20. Yeah, it's
30, and then they
Or-
just repeat it all.
Or they'll only play like 2 songs over and over from like Led Zeppelin. You only hear the 2 same Led Zeppelin, or well, I'm not saying that's so bad, maybe, but like just other bands, you only hear like the same 2 or 3 songs by the band.
No, I'd say. I mean, if
You know.
over here, if I'm working, I'll listen to either Kerrang radio, or Planet Rock radio, and they will play a very
okay.
broad range. They will play a very broad range of
That's
rock
like
songs,
That's like satellite.
heavy
then?
metal.
Yeah, is that like-
I
Is that
don't know.
over the air?
I've no idea.
Is it broadcast over the air?
Yeah,
Like it-
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, I thought everything was like BBC One, BBC Two.
Oh no, you've got Radio 1, Radio 2, etc.
Right.
but you've still got a lot of
like is it FM?
What they call commercial radio stations that play the ads.
Yes.
And I've never really been into listening to the BBC radio. So even back in the day, back in the 70s, I used to listen to the commercial radio stations because you would get a much broader range of music. BBC would typically have a playlist of the stuff that was in the charts, and that's all you would hear. Whereas on commercial radio, you would hear a much broader range. So these are commercial radio stations. I mean, to be honest, I stream them. I mean, I have the app for those two radio stations, and I play them on the phone and have it hooked up to a speaker. But you can't, you can just listen to them on the, if I'm in the car, I'll listen to them, and it's just on the, over the airways. Well, they would call it nowadays. So they're pretty good. I mean, they're good for, as I say, a good mixture of classic rock or heavy metal or punk or newer stuff. They'll talk, cover new singles and new albums released, etc. So that's pretty good. Wow. And then my wife's doesn't like any of that, so she forces me to listen to 70s or 80s. Stations, but they're still pretty good. I mean, you will still hear them play. If it's 70s, they'll play Queen, or they'll play ELO, or they'll play Sweet, or Slade, or Blondie, mixed up with pop songs and disco songs and whatever. And I would say typically you might hear Queen 3 or 4 times in a day across the station, but they will play different songs. It won't just be the same songs all the time. So I'd say it's not too bad over here for it being mixed up a bit. Yeah, to listen to sort of classic songs.
Yeah, unless you listen to satellite radio here, you're doomed, I think.
Yeah. Even that though is also a little bit same songs, you know.
But there's a lot more stations, so you have a lot more variety.
Yeah.
Like on Sirius, you could go to like album track show or, Yeah. Whatever. See, ladies and gentlemen, we just went on another tangent about radio.
We did.
Radio. Yeah.
We're just here to inform you about things. So that's what we're about. So, all right. I suppose we've talked an hour almost. I hope someone got something out of this. I do want to thank the panel, Ashley, the parish, the elder, and myself. And I'm not really thanking myself, but if you'd like to come on these shows, we'd love to have you. We have a Ko-fi, buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. We'd love to have that if you want to support the channel. We also have a Patreon. If you'd like to support us that way, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have more people on these panels because it's just all about talking music, and really it's just about turning you on to stuff and sharing amongst the masses.
Right.
We also take donations. You don't have to donate. We're here. We're addicted to music, so we'll just talk about it all the time. But yeah, please like, subscribe. If you haven't done that, please do it. Other than that, I don't have anything more. Gentlemen, you have anything else to add before we wrap it up?
Happy New Year to everybody.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year.
Yeah, because I'm going to put this up tomorrow. So Happy New Year. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next show. What is the next show? This one. So there you go. All right, everybody. Thank you. Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.